Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Om
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram,
Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Om
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram,
Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Om
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram,
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Om
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram,
Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Om
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram,
Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Om
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram,
Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Om
Shri Ram, Jai Ram,
Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Om
Shri Ram, Jai
Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Om
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram,
Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Om
Shri Ram, Jai Ram,
Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Hari Om to everybody. So finally we are on the 12th November. Param Pujya Swamiji's 102nd Jayanti Day. Virat Papa has been preparing us as to how we should spend the day for the last 10 days. And today, at the Bhajan Hall in the Arati session, he prompted us to give a brief synopsis of the talks delivered by Pujya Swamiji from 90 to 1995. Before we go through that, we would like to read Pujya Swamiji's own letter, brought out at the time of his 50th year of dedication to us. He says, coming to Anandashram in January 1949 was like returning home, my real home. Beloved Papa was my all in all. Beloved Papa's influence on me was so strong that my accepting him as everything was spontaneous. Before I understood and accepted Pujya Mataji as my mother, I could feel from the way she observed me, from the way she took care of me, from the way she showered her love on me unobtrusively, that she had already accepted me as her child. Beloved Papa and Mataji were gracious enough to permit me to serve them. From the next day of my arrival at the ashram, I kept myself busy serving Papa and Mataji in every possible way, and in a very short time, I was no longer a newcomer. I mixed with them and all others in the ashram so freely that soon I became one with the ashram. I found in beloved Papa and Mataji my divine parents, and in all the ashramites and visitors my brothers and sisters. I found real peace and joy in life, the like of which I never had enjoyed until then. Swamiji was 30 years old then. I was so buoyant, as if I was walking in the air, having come back home and found my real parents. I had fully dedicated my life for serving Papa and Mataji. Gradually I understood that they being everything and beyond, serving them meant serving everybody else also. By giving me an opportunity to be with them and to serve them, they graciously revealed their true nature and helped me to understand them, though with very great difficulty and inner conflict. It is not easy to understand saints and their ways. The ego in us will misdirect us, misconstrue things so as to create confusion. By their grace alone, we can really understand them. Because Swamiji used to say, when we are fired with an inspiration by a Mahatma, we go to them and we would like to dedicate our entire life to them. At that time we see them something more than an individual. But as days pass by, or weeks pass by, or months pass by, we slowly come back to the individual level, and then we will start finding fault with them. Because from the individual level there may be many things where we may. Each one is unique. So each one's approach has to be unique. That's why he says the ego in us will misdirect us and misconstrue things so as to create confusion. By their grace alone, we can really understand them. They taught me that sadhana was not merely sitting still in meditation with closed eyes, but also living a normal life with constant God remembrance and doing all acts dedicating them to Him, thus making every moment of the sadhaka an act of worship. Another important hint Swamiji is giving. They taught me that sadhana was not merely sitting still in meditation with closed eyes, but also living a normal life with constant God remembrance and doing all acts dedicating them to Him, to God, thus making every moment of the sadhaka an act of worship. By their living in our midst with universal vision, and by their spontaneity, simplicity, humility, nobility, they taught me that the purpose of human life is to realize God, and how a person who has realized God loves, talks and acts. They taught me how one can live for others, how one can embrace the whole world as one's own, how one can love others, not merely without expecting anything in return, but also when the return was unpalatable. They taught me by their actions and attitude how one can remain in the world perfectly detached like water drops on the lotus leaf. I saw how they sometimes face unpleasant situations and could laugh over them like children. Once again this para, no? By their, Swamiji is talking to us on his 102nd Jayanti day to all of us. It is not we are reading, he is talking to us directly now. By their living in our midst with universal vision, and by their spontaneity, simplicity, humility and nobility. They taught me that the purpose of human life is to realize God, and how a person who has realized God loves, talks and acts. They taught me how one can live for others, how one can embrace the whole world as one's own, how one can love others, not merely without expecting anything in return, but also when the return was unpalatable. They taught me by their action and attitude how one can remain in the world perfectly detached like water drops on a lotus leaf. I saw how they sometimes face unpleasant situations and could laugh over them like children. I came to them absolutely raw and shapeless, like a lump of clay. I surrendered to them. They graciously took me in hand, pressed, crushed, molded. They graciously took me in hand, pressed, crushed and molded me to give shape to, make me their instruments to serve all. To meet saints is a blessing. To be with them is a greater blessing. To be given a chance to serve them is a great privilege. My deepest gratitude to them, which can be expressed only by ever keeping my head at their lotus feet. One more touching message we were just sharing to Swamiji here. When we had almost prepared the souvenir, which was to be released on the occasion of the 50th dedication, suddenly the prompting came that we should have his own message. So from office we came to Ramana building, Swamiji was there. And we requested Swamiji, we need a message. What message? There is a souvenir coming. What souvenir? People would like to write. Why all these things? Anyway, it has all been decided, Swami. So we want your message. And we have got the privilege with him. He is the softest. If there is anything more than word. Superlative, superlative, there is a word. So we took the writing pad and the pen and gave it to him. And he started writing. He smiled and started writing. Because in his dictionary there is nothing called no. He always accedes to a request. So then when we gave the paper, he started writing. And everything was over. He gave. And when we went through that, it was an unruled paper. But suddenly we noticed, we were standing near him as he was writing. The distance between two lines were even. There was nil mistake in writing. And to top it all, he gave it and said, is it according to the sankalpa you have in your mind? Otherwise modify it. So that is the one. In his own, and we have taken the facsimile because this is something very precious for us to understand. Not only the contents, but the process. That means every moment of his life he was in constant remembrance. And whatever one does, it should be done as perfectly as possible. Never in a slipshod, clumsy, irregular, half-hearted way. These are the words of God. Everything it becomes a worship. So he says, Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, my most beloved Purushottam Papa and Mataji, prostrations at your holy feet. 50 years ago, this day, your infinite love and compassion brought me to Anandashram and gave me a chance to serve you and your innumerable forms visiting the ashram from all over the world. You had already blessed me with the holy and all-powerful Ramnam and assured me that I had only to chant the mantra constantly and you will do the rest. Though after a year I wanted to go away for a life of contemplation, you brought me back soon, and in your mysterious way, you influenced me from within to abide by your will, that instead of a life of contemplation, I should engage myself in your service. Accepting your will as supreme, I was given by you the needed strength and guidance to serve you to the best of my capacity and enjoyed such service. Service to you gave me a wider vision and the experience that all are my own and kept my mind calm and serene. You showered on me the ambrosia of love through your divine forms and also through your thousands of children spread all over the world, and thus drowned me in that ocean of love. May your protecting hand be ever upon my head, blessing me, guiding me, and lifting me up until you take me unto yourself. Ever your child, Sachidananda. 50 years ago this day, your infinite love and compassion brought me to Anandashram and gave me a chance to serve you and your innumerable forms, visiting the ashram from all over the world. You had already blessed me with the holy and all-powerful Ramnam and assured me that I had only to chant the mantra constantly and you will do the rest. Though after a year I wanted to go away for a life of contemplation, you brought me back soon, and in your mysterious way, you influenced me from within to abide by your will, that instead of a life of contemplation, I should engage myself in your service. Accepting your will as supreme, I was given by you the needed strength and guidance to serve you to the best of my capacity, and I enjoyed such service. Service to you gave a wider vision and the experience that all are my own and kept my mind calm and serene. You showered on me the ambrosia of love through your divine forms and also through your thousands of children spread all over the world, and thus drowned me in that ocean of love. May your protecting hand be ever upon my head, blessing me, guiding me, lifting me up until you take me unto yourself, ever your child, Sachidananda. Every now and then, suppose we go through such precious works of Swamiji, we are reminded of not merely perfection, not merely dedication to Guru, not merely the touch of love, not merely mastering everything here. Accounts, statutory, he was thorough. Homeo medicines, he was thorough. Relationship with workers and others, perfect. In all fields you can find, but still the greatest part is Swamiji is so humble so childlike in his behavior, self-effacing to the total, never asserting his will. Even for fun he will not say that. That means every moment the subservience to the Almighty Lord of the universe it has become a part of his life. It is not that it comes and goes. Even when he handled any small things, it was reflected there. The touch of love, the touch of reverence, the touch of gratitude, the touch of perfection, it was writ large in whatever he does. Previously, we were trying to enjoy all these things. Then only one day when we were observing and when we were telling Swamiji, normally we don't get attached to any person, but we don't know whether we are attaching to your person now. Immediately Swamiji said, no, should not. How did you manage when you were with 14 years with Papa? Then he told, the same question was asked. Papa immediately said, person and ideal, no? You adore a person not because he is a person. You revere a person not because he is a person. You love a person not because he is a person. You adore, you love, you respect because of the values he holds. So there is an inner alignment that is taking place from your mind to that. Concentrate upon that. This was later clarified when one day, on the Jayanti day, when somebody brought out all the qualities in him, the spontaneous reaction was, pure love sees purity in others. When I say somebody is pure, somebody is good, somebody is noble, the same goodness, nobility is here. So there is an inner alignment. The saint has been responsible. He was instrumental in touching and kindling the greatness in us, the nobility in us, the self-effacement in us. Every moment, his exemplary life was an open book for all of us. Whenever we take down lectures, meticulously he will remember all the family members. And sometimes he will say, nowadays I forget. What forget? Whenever we require anything, we go to him only. Swamiji is so-and-so's wife's name. Immediately he will immediately know. By that he taught us that when you are attending to something, be meticulous. Get it registered in your mind. Nobody is insignificant, nobody is irrelevant, nobody is unimportant. So like that we can keep on bringing this on this particular day. So before we thought, this is that one part. Another part is Swamiji made use of all the occasions when we requested Swamiji to give us the messages. There will be hymns. We will just read out the hymns, On the Guru Purnima day in 1990, is that ashram is a sacred place to love and serve. Daily examine your failings, correct yourself. Ashram is a sacred place to love and serve. Daily examine your failings and correct yourself. Pujya Mataji's Jayanti day in 90. All devotees should live in harmony with those around and be a model for others. All devotees should live in harmony with those around and be a model for others. Ashram's 60th Jayanti day, 91. Hold fast to the high ideal set by Papa and Mataji. Make the ashram a haven of peace and bliss. Say Harivasan. So we must try to hammer into our brain. Papa's words on the inauguration day. The ideal of the ashram is universal love and service based upon the vision of divinity in everybody. I must keep on reminding myself, everyone should think. It is for that purpose we do Ram Nam, we do Seva, we do Dhyan. We carry on with our life, but underneath it must be writ large. Guru Purnima Day 91. Give up petty likes and dislikes, jealousy, hatred. Live in love and harmony. Pujya Mataji's Jayanti Day 91. Keep watch over all your thoughts, lest you should stray from the spiritual path. The Vyavaharic involvement will unknowingly take us away, All those things we would have heard, we would have been coming to ashram, everything is perfectly alright. We have our adoration to Papa Mataji Swamiji, all Mahatmas, but still we may slip. So he is reminding, keep watch over all your thoughts, lest you should stray from the spiritual path. Papa's Sannyas Day, introspect his spiritual progress is slow. Introspect his spiritual progress is slow. Papa Samadhi Day 92. Love purifies the mind and makes one dwell on God thought constantly. So love here means absence of otherness. Expansive. Not love limited to a few people. Not to the near and dear. Not to the kith and kin alone. Not to the people who have helped us. Not to the people with whom we are working, but to one and all. Unity of all religions. Introduce universal prayer from childhood itself. Mataji's Jayanti Day. Guru Seva not to be limited to the particular form of the Guru. Swamiji's Jayanti Day. Pure love makes one to see purity in others. So Papa's Sannyas Day 92. Renunciation is perfect detachment from possessions. Again Mahasamadhi Day of Pujya Mataji 93. Devoted service to Guru and love for all is the key to divinity. Papa's Jayanti Day, sadhaka should respect all. Guru Purnima Day, resist the attack of down-pulling forces. Anger, cravings, desire. Papa Samadhi Day, Virat Papa is in all forms and beyond. Satsang program in 93. To be always in love and joy, depend on God's name. To be always in love and joy, depend on God's name. Mataji's Jayanti Day in 93. Think, talk and do only that which takes you to the goal. Think, talk and do only that which takes you to the goal. Papa Sannyas Day 27th December 93. Chanting should be backed by intense devotion. Another important point, Papa's Jayanti Day. Sadhana not to be limited to specific hours or places. Sadhana not to be limited to specific hours or places. Papa's Mahasamadhi Day. Lack of intensity retards progress. Mataji's Jayanti Day 94. Guru Seva, a must for sadhaka. Swamiji's Jayanti day in 94. Love expansively and enjoy eternal happiness. The love circle should keep on expanding. Satsang program in 94. See the finger of God in all events and individuals. '94 again, Sannyas Day. Surrender to Guru, he takes care of you. Papa's Jayanti Day. Celebrations are exclusively for God remembrance. Normally, we under the banner of celebration. Luckily, in Anandashram, we don't have that problem. There will be only Ram Nam, Akhand Ram Nam. There will be special satsang, that's all. Otherwise, beyond that, there won't be any, no publicity, nothing will be there, all silent. That is the legacy they have set up here. Erase the little I, Guru Purnima Day. Soul aim is to reach the source, that's who you are. C, capital. First, so 90 to 95 this was given. And when we see, when we were reading, see the finger of God in all events and individuals. Today we got an email, a very touching episode that also we will share. Some years ago, this was sent by somebody, from America. Some years ago, I was stuck on a crosstown bus in New York City during rush hour. Traffic was barely moving. The bus was filled with old, tired people who were deeply irritated with one another and with the world itself. Two men barked at each other about a show that might or might not have been intentional. A pregnant woman got on and nobody offered her seat. Rage was in the air. No mercy could be found here. See, through word picture, he is painting before us the scene in the bus. Sorry. But as the bus approached 7th Avenue, the driver got on the intercom. Folks, he addressed them. I know you have had a rough day and you are frustrated. I can't do anything about the weather or traffic, but here is what I can do. As each one of you gets off the bus, I will reach out my hand to you. As you walk by, drop your troubles into the palm of my hand, okay? Don't take your problems home to your families tonight. Just leave them with me. My route goes right by the Hudson River, and when I drive by there later, I will open the window and throw your troubles in the water. So I also don't carry. It was as if a spell had lifted. Everyone burst out laughing. Faces gleamed with surprise and delight. People who had been pretending for the past hour not to notice each other's existence were suddenly grinning at each other like, is this guy serious? Oh, he was serious. At the next stop, just as promised, the driver reached out his hand, palm up, and waited. One by one, all the exiting commuters placed their hand just above his hand and mimicked the gesture of dropping something into his palm. Some people laughed as they did this, some teared up, but everyone did it. The driver repeated the same lovely ritual at the next stop too, and the next all the way to the river. We live in a hard world, my friends. Sometimes it is extra difficult to be a human being. Sometimes you have a bad day. Sometimes you have a bad day that lasts for several years. You struggle, fail. You lose jobs, money, friends, faith, love. You witness horrible events unfolding in the news and you become fearful and withdrawn. There are times when everything seems cloaked in darkness. You long for the light but don't know where to find it. But what if you are the light? What if you are the very agent of illumination that a dark situation begs for? That is what this bus driver taught me. That anyone can be the light at any moment. This guy was not some big power player. He was not a spiritual leader. He was not some media savvy influencer. He was a bus driver, one of society's most invisible workers. But he possessed real power, and he used it beautifully for our benefit. When life feels especially grim, or when I feel particularly powerless in the face of the world's troubles, I think of this man and ask myself, what can I do right now to be the light? Of course, I can't personally end all wars, or solve global warming, or transform vexing people into entirely different creatures. I definitely can't control traffic, but I do have some influence on everyone I brush up against, even if we never speak or learn each other's name. No matter who you are, or where you are, or how mundane or tough your situation may seem, I believe you can illuminate your world. In fact, I believe this is the only way the world will ever be illuminated. One bright act of grace at any time, all the way to the river. Elizabeth Gilbert. Now, when we go through this, today, on a very important, auspicious day, why should it come? So God is facilitating us through the writer to convey the wonderful, profound, sublime message of how one can become the light to oneself, even in a period when we are passing through adversity, frustration, chaos, misery, tough challenges, inner conflict, outer conflict. God says, you are the light. And he made the bus driver, to think about it seriously, and how, when it came spontaneously, when it came from the bottom of the heart, it was coming from God direct, how it had a telling impact, positive impact on all the passengers, and also to the readers who are reading this, including us who are hearing this. Somewhere something happened. When Pujya Swamiji said, see the finger of God in everything, you are remembering this. It is not a bus driver's glory. It is God who is facilitating. God who is in the form of passengers who express their frustration and how they became receptive. Goodness will touch goodness in others. So just now Swamiji said, pure love sees purity in others. The love, the quality, care and concern touches and kindles the quality, care and concern in others. So many things through the driver God is teaching us. So let that be our take-home message on this very auspicious day. And we pray to Swamiji, who is in the form of remembrance in our heart, to keep a flame of all the teachings he has given us so far, so that we will be inching at least towards that which he has scaled. Hari Om. Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om. Om Shri Ram Jai Ram जय जय राम ओम श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम ओम श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम ओम श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम ओम श्री राम जय जय राम हरि ओम हरि ओम हरि ओम हरि ओम हरि ओम नमस्कार